I'd like to hear from you your side of them videos and why would you use a trafficked person to do sort of provocative videos with you to prove a point to a troll? I don't get
Good question. I'm going to explain that to you fully off camera, because right now I'm under legal instruction whereby I can't discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Turn that off a minute.
Go on.
Without touching on any specific characters, I know one of your guests had it in his head that you maybe had something to do with getting his YouTube channel deleted, which obviously for me it doesn't make sense at all. Like, why
Can't go there.
In this video, we're going to look at Shaun Attwood, a true crime YouTuber and author and alleged truth teller. Although come to find out, he's more of a fib teller. He's one of those channels that gets pushed heavily in the algorithm, and he's close to 1 million subscribers. And it's starting to feel like this platform is overrun with scammers and con artists that pretend to be fighting for justice and freedom of speech, when what they really want is your hard-earned cashola. And their targets are the people with the least money. See, it's easy to believe them because they're good at telling stories and they're very captivating with their online presence. But it doesn't take too long to find out he's had his fair share of YouTube drama in the past before his channel got so big. And like Adam22 and Soft White Underbelly, he uses the most vulnerable victims as his guests. So it only took a few clicks and I found one of his previous subjects who he did a GoFundMe with, called Callie Diamond. And at the time he was working for a content platform called Brand NewTube, which it seems like he was fired from because of this incident. So this footage still exists online, and I think it was filmed without his knowledge, but you can definitely see what's going on here. And I can't show the whole clip because of age restriction, but I think you can imagine what happens next.
Get any Uber to the shop, I'm not going in there. Look, I've got you hustling other people, not me. You're supposed to look out for my best interest.
Yeah, well, my best interest is only
Your light is not my priority in life. Launching you as a YouTuber is my priority in life.
It shows him getting high with his guest who has an addiction problem. And he's got his own video playing and he's saying his priority is to launch her on YouTube. Good priority. Well, that didn't work out because she actually went to jail for causing death by dangerous driving. Although neither of them mentioned this during the GoFundMe or the channel launch, or that they were in a relationship. And he was called out by some of the other ex-prison podcasts and members of his community. And there's another clip where he's dressed as a woman and she's dressed up and he tells her to call him daddy. And he tried to talk his way out of it by saying it was a setup and a prank. And then he brought freedom of speech into it when he got fired. And most of the commentary on this topic have disappeared or been age restricted. But the video footage pretty much says it all. He'd overstepped any boundaries with her as a guest or a victim on his channel and as an advocate to his audience. And he's looking as dodgy as the suits he wears.
What I'd like you to do, I'd like you to, what do they call it when you reenact the cocaine scene, right? Right? I'd like you to reenact that cocaine scene today and sniff some flour.
Like I said, I can't discuss it,
Well,
Marvin.
you can sniff flour though, can't you?
I can't discuss this, Marvin.
But what I'm saying, you can sniff flour though.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we're going with this.
Well, I'd like you to sniff some flour in front of my viewers just to show them the acts of sniffing flour.
We can't go there, Marvin, I'm afraid, because
Why?
of the legal instruction I'm under.
You're under legal instruction
Yes.
not to sniff flour in
Not
my
to
viewers.
even be discussing this right now. I'm under legal instruction.
Really?
Yeah, this is probably going to have to be taken out.
Why?
This is what the lawyers told me.
For what reason?
There's a huge legal situation I'm in because of that video.
Okay.
And what made me want to look him up recently was his attempts to cover the P. Diddy situation, which of course is a very hot topic in the true crime I stand for victims commentary world, and it felt like he was having a little bit of a dig at Tisa Tells, a black female content creator who really does advocate for victims on her channel. And I saw his video where he made the connection between Diddy's downfall and the lawsuit he filed and lost against the drinks company Diageo, who owns Ciroc Vodka. It wasn't really latest news because a lot of content creators were talking about it months ago, long before he got arrested. And what was fishy about it was how he linked them back to the investment company BlackRock, probably so he could use their name in the thumbnail, because it's a bit of a dog whistle. And as I'd already done some research into it myself, it just didn't really add up what he was saying. So then to find out that he says he used to be a stockbroker and a millionaire, the story was sketch, and you'd think he'd be more informed. And there was a lot he didn't mention, like Diddy's big time investor Ron Burkle, who really did make his fortune from stock investments. And he had a very close relationship with P. Diddy and the Clintons. And he's never been shy to use his influence or power. And there's a lot to look into there, but that would take doing some real research. Then you start to see the image he's created for himself might be a little bit fabricated, like explaining how to scam the stock market when he was actually fined $68,000 and was banned from ever trading again in 1998 for defrauding a customer. And thanks to the person who researched this paperwork. Very much appreciated. I'm not sure if that's why he started selling pills. It makes a lot more sense than the story he tells. And he did go to jail, but I don't know any gangsters that look like this. And small disclaimer, I have known some people that did that occupation and they did not dress like that. I'm just saying. Anyway, he's a convicted fraudster and he does, I think, 7 years in jail. So I understand it. Your employment choices after that are limited. So in jail, he apparently became an author and reinvented himself as a justice fighter, and was somehow booked by schools and colleges, a scary thought, to give inspirational talks and maybe to try and warn people about getting into criminal activity. So there's a lot of red flags piling up, because going by his behaviour in 2020 and 2021, he's still using substances and there's a lot of sniffing. And he's been going on TV talking about issues affecting prisoners' rights. In this Lad Bible video he appears in, it literally says The Unbelievable Story, and they're a platform known for only pushing and licensing viral content, meaning his story would have to be outrageous for them to feature it.
I was getting protected back then by the New Mexican Mafia, who were the most powerful and violent criminal organisation in Arizona. How does a nerdy business graduate from Widnes end up getting protected by the New Mexican Mafia?
Well, it's a very good question and makes a great tagline. Unlike the British podcasters, the New Mexican Mafia are not really going to verify or challenge his statements. And it's the same about his claims he's made about his prison experience, saying it's the most deadly prison in America or something. So originally his story appeared and was publicised by a low-budget British TV show called Locked Up Abroad. It used to come on really late at night, and as one commenter wrote, kind of annoying, more like listening to a made-up story than something real that happened. I think it's more than possible that he's allowed his backstory to get a little bit embellished and give him a little bit of online fame that he's built his platform on. Britain's Hardest Men for Fox-owned channel Tubi is another one of his gigs. And the more research I've done, the more I see these platforms like Business Insider and Forbes. They pretty much just write what they get in press releases. It's a very syndicated and loose form of journalism, some might even say paid for. And that's how a lot of online marketing works. In my last video, I looked at former cop Mark Williams-Thomas and how he's part of the true crime entertainment industry. And it's very big business, not just for making TV shows and podcasts, but things like CrimeCon. Shaun Attwood is one of the guests. I think you can get to meet him at a cost of £787.95. I just think this is a bit effed up. I'm sure he gets a nice fee out of it, but as I said in my last video, how is this benefiting victims? Because isn't this industry just supporting more of these same predators? Like Jimmy Savile, who he made a 3-hour documentary about, featuring Mark Williams-Thomas. Jimmy Savile targeted the most vulnerable young girls who he knew would never retaliate, who he knew would never be believed. And he's out here supporting Andrew Tate, Russell Brand, saying they've been shut down by the elites for speaking the truth. And he didn't mention Tim Westwood was best friends with Russell Brand, which didn't sit right with people in hip-hop. And making out these predators are being framed and set up with clickbait thumbnails like, was Diddy destroyed by Black Rock and Diageo? Diddy's done this to himself, but yeah, we do have a justice system controlled by people with money. But he used his wealth and powerful friends, or power over friends, to get away with it for so long, just like Jimmy Savile. And yeah, that is what corporations do, but two wrongs don't make a right. The justice system is very dysfunctional, and it would be very naive to think that P. Diddy right now is not doing everything within his power, everything he can to try and influence public opinion on him. And I find it very interesting that channels like Shaun Attwood and Popcorn Planet is another one. Like, you've had your own allegations against yourselves being predators with your audience, but you're obsessed with P. Diddy and currently doing an extensive series into his case. And so now we're going to talk about some of the guests he's had on, some of the guests that have been known for scamming. There's an online form you can fill out to apply to go on the show. Those with an interesting story to tell apply below. So we'll start with this guy, John Wedger. He claims to be a paedophile searcher, if that's what they're called. So this guy talks a lot about satanic child abuse, but has he ever shown one receipt? Not that I know of. And he raised over £7,000 in a GoFundMe for whistleblowers awareness, aka himself. He said he was bullied out of the police, but he's never made an official complaint against them. And he says he did a lot of investigations into pedos, but he did do an investigation into a 22-year-old graffiti artist who did go to jail for a year. It's not really the same. I know some people don't like to hear this, but a lot of people actually like graffiti, and it is another huge industry, but it's a lot less harmful than the acts of disgusting violence against women and young people or children that the P. Diddy, Andrew Tate, Russell Brand and all the others allegations are about. The real allegations, you know, by real people. But Shaun Attwood's channel leans more into the victim vultures. I just came up with that expression. So of course he gives a platform to Jaguar Wright, someone whose history of behaviour with other people online has been absolutely disgusting. She's been talking about P. Diddy for 4 years. She's never shown one receipt. She used to say she was advocating for victims, but was also a scammer. First she was selling some face balms or face creams that no one ever received. Then she was involved in the trafficking of a girl from TikTok who was claiming to be R. Kelly and Aaliyah's daughter, who called herself Legina Gold, although there was no way, due to the age difference and the fact that her own family came online to debunk it and that she was of a different heritage. She had actually been diagnosed with being bipolar, but that didn't stop her from bringing her from a different state to stay with her, even though she didn't have her own house. This was all happening live online about 2 years ago. A lot of people didn't know Jaguar Wright then. Yes. So this girl, they were all staying together, and she had made this website called Dalladelphia that if you wanted to see the DNA test being done live, you had to subscribe to. But of course that never happened. And then people were saying there was no way to get a refund. And then there was this whole incident with her son's ashes and this guy from the Nature Boy cult called Solar. It was literally crazy to get donations and fame. Anyway, another scam they came up with was this video where she's saying she was pregnant by Drake and he'd kidnapped the baby. And it's because of Drake that R. Kelly's in prison because he was trying to help her get the baby back. And her proof is that he hasn't sued her.
Now, matter of fact, I'm just say his name. You know, Drake ass. You know his name. Who are you? If he think I'm lying, then he better send us.
They gonna hit themselves for this because I'm going live on every. I'm putting this up on every platform.
What I was saying about him, he should sue me if I'm lying, but he ain't. He owe me my money. He took my inheritance. Him, Jay-Z, I don't know about Diddy yet, but him and Jay-Z, they know each other. Oh no, you need to stop. You about to get blocked. Didn't I block you, or you just came up with another place? Bye. I'm telling the truth because my mom want me to tell the truth, and I'm telling the truth on everybody that do me dirty. Everybody that did me dirty. So y'all can take that. Y'all can take that and run with it and watch them. And I know the people they murdered too. Sacrificed too. Tell him give me my mother. Why he said he owed my mom for how he about to get it, because he took my money, which my mom earned. Did this happen in Detroit? I seen him in Detroit in 2019, the last time I seen him. I'm not his only baby mom, actually. I'm not. He got many kids out there, and many secret kids, too. He have many. Why do you think Nicki Minaj went to song with My Rapist, one of them, and asked for a play date? He helped my dad get in prison. He did that because my dad was going to tell me, my dad was about to help me escape from him, and then he sat there and made my dad go to prison. And then he made a song with, you made a song, remix his song, you're going to use his royalties, like literally. He do. My dad, R. Kelly, was about to help me. He was trying to have a relationship with me. And then he helped put my dad in prison. And that's what he did. So if y'all wondering, like, how did he go to prison like that, especially from cases and stuff like that, like that, some crimes he did do, but for that extreme, being that extreme, somebody else wanted to throw him under the bus. They did that. He was trying to stop him from hurting me.
So crazy as it sounds, I am not making this up. I don't know if Piers Morgan has seen this. It's pretty easy to research these people and make up your own mind about their credibility. Most people that use her as a source, they know nothing about the history of hip-hop. Piers Morgan has never in his life cared about the hip-hop world, victims, or rights. He literally used phone hacking to exploit victims when he was editor of a newspaper. And he's been going after Meghan Markle to stir up the racists for literally years now. He does not care about black people. But he has Jaguar Wright on as a guest, and I'm glad he got burnt. Because when you're given a platform to someone who openly lies and talks smack about people with no evidence, it's going to affect the validity of any real victims. And some people don't know who to believe. And it's funny that Shaun Attwood and Popcorn Planet also go after Meghan Markle. And there's a few other sus people he's had on his channel, because this whole Diddy situation has turned into a media content feeding frenzy, like the guy who said he wrote Kim Porter's memoir, the random lawyers that are trying to sell A-list tapes. Remember that random publicist guy? Jonathan Hay. First of all, he's not a celebrity. He literally has a 24-hour hotline number for crisis management and damage control on his website. You don't think that's suspicious? And then there's Tony Busby. Do I think he's a scammer? Well, there's something very fishy about him, not least that he calls himself a shark.
And we're the biggest, and we're the baddest, and we're just floating around looking for something to eat.
Collects exotic cars and expensive art.
Look how beautiful that is.
It's gorgeous.
This one's like $3 million.
A lifestyle paid for by his tenacity in the courtroom.
I just hope all these victims get their settlement money and it's not going to fund his lifestyle or debt. And he also has a weird case that happened with a woman in his home, and she looks like a victim to me. Then there's that NT the lawyer guy. He's another weirdo. In an effort to talk about this topic every day, the amount of people coming out of the woodwork looking for a way to get paid or attention is kind of sickening. There's so much conflicting information going on, and it's become a free-for-all in the commentary channel world because everyone wants to to get the most views. And a lot of facts are getting lost in the process, with all these vague stories of elites and tunnels and satanic rituals, and making it about sexuality when it is really about violence and enslaving people, which isn't just happening in Hollywood, it's a worldwide issue. A lot of these channels are profiting and taking advantage of people, but then cherry picking who the villains are, and it's really easy to get sucked into believing some of these people. It just doesn't make no sense that a man who's been accused of messing around with his own audience cares about any victims. I think they throw a lot of doubts out there so they can carry on with their own bad behaviour. Anyway, you let me know. Have a beautiful day, and let's not lose our instincts and our critical thinking skills along the way.